The truck that never leaves. Introduction: the pit stop. In 2025, I pulled my rig to the roadside near a tiny town. 2 houses, no motel, just exhaustion. I'm a trucker, always hauling late, and that night, miles from anywhere, I couldn't push. Unsettling in the cab, I drifted off, until nightmares jolted me. Voices called my name, fog seeping through the vents. I stepped out, the air thick, whispering from everywhere. They led me to a house, dark, familiar. Inside my truck, weird gear glowed. Cameras, tools. I grabbed keys on instinct. At the house, the keys fit the lock. No lights, just silence. But it felt like home. Something wasn't right. Chapter 1: The Fog That Speaks. A cold October night in 2025 draped the roadside in a gray shroud, the faint glow of my truck's dashboard seeping through the cracked windshield, casting long shadows across the cluttered cab, crumpled maps curling on the seat, their edges worn from restless hands, a half-empty thermos and a flickering CB radio strewn near a sagging wheel. A silent testament to a weary life that stirred with an unease I couldn't shake. As I slumped against the door, the air thick with diesel and a chill no blanket could warm, trembling from a sleep I couldn't trust. A secret tightening around me in a space I couldn't escape. My heart raced, a jagged rhythm that matched the faint voices weaving through the fog, soft, calling Jack, echoing in my mind like a memory I couldn't place, growing sharper as I rubbed my eyes, my fingers cold, stirring with a dread I couldn't name. Just tired, I'd muttered earlier, clinging to reason. But the unease stuck like damp mist, wrapping around my thoughts as I peered into the haze. The silence heavy, pressing against me like a weight I couldn't shift. A mystery stirring, with something I couldn't pin down, lurking in the night I thought I owned. Alive with a pull I couldn't see but felt drawing me out. A truck alive with whispers I couldn't ignore. I swung the door open, the creak of metal cutting the quiet, my boots hitting gravel with a soft crunch. The fog rolled in, thick and alive, curling through the cab's vents like fingers. Voices swelled. Jack, come, from all sides, tugging me toward a house across the road. 2 stories, dark windows, peeling paint. It looked familiar, like a dream I'd forgotten. I glanced back at my rig. Gear glowed faintly, stuff I didn't recognize. Cameras, scanners, a carved keyring. A voice inside said, "Take them," so I did, the keys cold in my pocket. Crossing the road, the fog parted, the house looming closer. The door was locked, but my keys fit, smooth, like they belonged. I stepped in, dark, musty, no lights. It smelled like home, old wood, faint lavender. But I lived on the road. My head spun, a strange comfort mixing with fear. I called out, "Anyone here?" No answer, just the house settling, watching me. Something was off. I wasn't alone, even if I couldn't see it. The voices faded, but their pull lingered, urging me deeper into a place I swore I knew, a night bending into a question I couldn't answer. The fog's call, the truck's secrets, the house's grip, closing in with every step I took. I moved. To the living room, my flashlight cutting through the gloom, dusty couch, chipped table, a stillness too perfect. The air shifted, a door upstairs creaking open on its own. My chest tightened. "Hello?" My voice swallowed by the dark. A plate slid off the counter, shattering with a sharp crack. I jumped, heart pounding, but no one was there. The house felt alive, breathing around me, tugging at memories I couldn't grab. Laughter, a child's voice, a life I'd left. I'd been a trucker for years, running from bills, chasing cash after my family begged me to stay. This couldn't be home. I lived in my rig. Yet every corner screamed I belonged. My hands shook as I gripped the keys, the fog's whispers echoing in my skull. Stay. I wanted to run, but my feet rooted, drawn to a past I couldn't place. A house alive with a pull I couldn't break. A night haunted by a truth I couldn't see, waiting for me to remember. Chapter 2. The Rooms That Remember. A cold October gloom in 2025 hung heavy over the tiny town. The faint flicker of my flashlight piercing the dark of the house I'd entered, casting jagged shadows across the cramped living room. Sagging armchairs sinking into faded rugs, their threads a map of forgotten days, a clutter of chipped mugs and a dusty photo frame strewn near a silent fireplace. A quiet testament to a life lost that stirred with an unease I couldn't shake as I stood frozen by the stairs. The air, thick with mildew and a chill no coat could warm, trembling from a place I couldn't name. A secret tightening around me in a space I couldn't trust. My heart pounded, a steady rhythm that matched the faint creaks weaving through the walls. Soft, like footsteps, echoing in my mind like a call I couldn't ignore, growing sharper as I gripped my light, its beam unsteady, stirring with a dread I couldn't place. It's nothing, I'd muttered earlier, clinging to logic, but the unease stuck like wet fog, wrapping around my thoughts as I scanned the dark, the silence heavy, pressing against me like a weight I couldn't move. A mystery stirring with something I couldn't pin down, lurking in a house I swore I knew. Alive with a past I couldn't see but felt pulling me in. A home stirring with whispers I couldn't escape. I climbed the stairs, each step groaning under my weight, the air growing colder with every move. A door swung open ahead, slow, deliberate, revealing a bedroom. Dust coated the bed, but the sheets were wrinkled, like someone had just left. My light caught a mirror. My face stared back, older, tired, but the frame held a photo. Me, a woman, a kid. My wife, Lily, my daughter, Grace. Memories flooded in. I'd been a trucker to pay for Grace's doctors, leaving them behind. This was my house, but I'd lived on the road for years. A glass tipped off the dresser, rolling across the floor. I spun. No one there. The air hummed, low and steady, like the voices from the fog. Jack, they whispered again, soft, familiar. Lily's voice, Grace's giggle. My throat tightened. I'm dreaming, but it felt too real. Downstairs, a chair scraped, dragging across the floor. I rushed down, light shaking, empty, but the chair sat crooked, moved. The house knew me. Every creak, every fall, it was mine, calling me back. My rig outside gleamed, packed with gear I didn't recall. Tools, cameras, like I'd worked for someone else. The hum grew, pulling me to a truth I couldn't face. A night bending into a terror I couldn't shake. The moving rooms, the family's call, the living past, closing in with every moment I stayed. I checked the kitchen. Cabinets flung open, plates stacked neatly, then crashing down. My hands shook. Who's here? My voice lost in the hum. A child's drawing, Grace's, stuck. To the fridge dated years ago. I'd left to drive, taken a gig with a strange crew. Paranormal jobs, they said. Hauling their gear, I'd felt off after one run. Eyes gray, head foggy, but I kept going. The house pulsed, alive with my life, taunting me with what I'd lost. A shadow flickered in the hall, tall, watching. I froze, chest heaving. Lily? No answer. Just the hum, louder now. The keys in my pocket burned, tying me to this place. I wanted to run, but it held me. My home, my guilt, my grave. A space alive with a pull I couldn't break. A night haunted by a past I couldn't flee, waiting for me to see. Chapter 3. The Job That Changed. A cold October dark in 2025 wrapped the house in a suffocating hush, the faint glow of my truck's headlights seeping through the cracked windows, casting warped shadows across the cramped kitchen, chipped counters gleaming with damp rot, their edges a testament to years abandoned, a clutter of broken dishes and a faded calendar strewn near a silent stove, a quiet hint of a life stalled that stirred with an unease I couldn't shake as I stood rigid by the sink, the air thick, with dust and a chill no breath could warm, trembling from a past I couldn't escape, a secret tightening around me in a space I couldn't trust. My heart raced, a jagged rhythm that matched the faint hum weaving through the walls, low, insistent, echoing in my mind like a warning I couldn't place, growing sharper as I gripped the counter, my knuckles white, stirring with a dread I couldn't name. "It's my house," I'd muttered earlier, clinging to memory. But the unease stuck like wet mist, wrapping around my thoughts as I faced the dark, the silence heavy, pressing against me like a weight I couldn't shift, a mystery stirring with something I couldn't pin down, lurking in a home I'd left behind, alive with a force I couldn't see but felt pulling me deeper, a place stirring with echoes I couldn't ignore. I sank to the floor, the hum swelling, memories crashing in. I'd been a trucker for years, hauling for cash after Grace got sick. Lily begged me to stay, but I couldn't. Then I took a job with a weird crew, paranormal service they called it. Strange gear in my rig, cameras, sensors, a carved box they wouldn't explain. One run, deep in the woods, changed everything. We'd stopped at an old site, air thick, voices in the wind. They opened the box. Something poured out, dark, alive. My eyes grayed, head fogged, everyone's did. We drove off, blind, the truck veering, then nothing. I woke here at the wheel, no crash, just the road. The house creaked, doors swinging wide. Lily's voice called Jack from upstairs. I climbed, legs heavy, her perfume lingered, but the room was empty. A shadow loomed in the corner, tall, faceless, watching. My chest seized. "What are you?" No answer, just the hum, deafening now. The truck outside gleamed, its gear alive, recording me. I'd brought something, back, something that clung, that knew me. The house pulsed, dragging me to that night, a night bending into a terror I couldn't shake. The job's curse, the family's call, the living dark, closing in with every memory I fought. I stumbled to the hall, lights flickered, then died. A child's laugh, Grace, echoed, then stopped. The shadow moved, closer, its breath cold on my neck. I swung my light, nothing, but the air thickened, pressing me down. My keys rattled, the truck's tools whispering my name. That job, those people, they'd trapped something, and it trapped us. My head spun, eyes burning, gray, like that night. I'd died in that crash, hadn't I? The house knew, every creak, every voice, pulling me back to a life I'd lost. I wanted to run, but my legs locked, rooted to a truth I couldn't face. A home alive with a force I couldn't break. A night haunted by a demon I couldn't flee, waiting for me to fall. Chapter 4. The Voices That Bind. A cold October void in 2025 swallowed the house in a suffocating dark, the faint glow of my flashlight fading against the warped walls, casting twisted shadows across the narrow hall, peeling paint curling like dead skin, its flakes a testament to years untouched, a clutter of Grace's toys, and a shattered clock strewn near a silent stair, a quiet echo of a life gone that stirred with an unease I couldn't shake as I stood frozen by the steps, the air thick, with ash and a chill no cry could warm, trembling from a truth I couldn't face, a secret tightening around me in a space I couldn't trust. My heart pounded, a jagged rhythm that matched the faint voices weaving through the dark, soft, pleading Jack, echoing in my mind like a call I couldn't ignore, growing sharper as I gripped my light, its beam weak, stirring with a dread I couldn't place. "I'm dead," I'd muttered earlier, clinging to fear, but the unease stuck like damp fog, wrapping around my thoughts as I faced the void, the silence heavy, pressing against me like a weight I couldn't move. A terror, stirring with something I couldn't pin down, lurking in a home I'd died to leave. Alive with a pull I couldn't see, but felt dragging me down. A place stirring with whispers I couldn't escape. I climbed again, the stairs bending under me. Lily's voice called, "Come home," from above. Grace giggling below. My chest ached. Memories of leaving them, taking that cursed job. The paranormal crew, their box, their crash, had claimed me. A door slammed shut, then opened, revealing a nursery. Grace's crib sat empty, rocking gently. My light caught it. Her blanket moved, like someone held it. "Grace?" My voice broke, swallowed by the hum. The shadow returned, taller, closer, its gray eyes mine. My knees buckled. "No," but it nodded, pointing to the truck outside. The gear glowed, cameras rolling, watching me. I'd brought the demon here, into my home, my head. The air pulsed, voices overlapping. "Stay with us. Lily, Grace, me." My eyes burned, gray, dead, reflecting in a cracked mirror. The house shifted, walls bled, floors sank, trapping me in its grip. I ran downstairs. Plates flew, shattering. Lily's scream cut through. "Jack!" But the rooms were empty. The shadow followed, slow, its hum deafening, a night bending into a nightmare I couldn't shake. The family's call, the demons, gaze, the living trap, closing in with every step I took. I reached the door, locked, my keys useless now. The truck's lights flared, its horn blaring, calling me back. The shadow loomed, huge, its voice mine. "You're ours." My head spun, fog flooding in, gray, thick, blinding. I'd died that night, crashed with the crew, but woke behind the wheel, driving home. This wasn't rest, this was hell. My home, my curse. The voices begged, "Stay," tearing at my soul. I wanted them, Lily, Grace. But they were gone, and I was here, stuck. The house pulsed, alive with my guilt, my death. A space alive with a force I couldn't break. A night haunted by a demon I couldn't flee, waiting for me to give in. Chapter 5. The Loop That Holds. A cold October haze in 2025 cloaked the house in a suffocating grip, the faint gleam of my truck's headlights seeping through the fogged windows, casting warped shadows across the cramped living room. Sagging furniture melting into the floor, its fabric a testament to years undone. A clutter of my keys, and a dead radio strewn near a silent void. A quiet echo of a life trapped, that stirred with an unease I couldn't shake as I slumped by the wall. The air thick with rot, and a chill no scream could warm, trembling from a fate I couldn't escape. A secret tightening around me in a space I couldn't trust. My heart raced, a jagged rhythm that matched the faint hum weaving through the dark. Low, relentless, echoing in my mind like a chain I couldn't break, growing sharper as I gripped my head, my hands cold, stirring with a dread I couldn't place. "I'm gone," I'd muttered earlier, clinging to despair, but the unease stuck like wet fog, wrapping around my thoughts as I faced the gloom, the silence heavy, pressing against me like a weight I couldn't shift, a terror stirring with something I couldn't pin down, lurking in a loop I couldn't see but felt pulling me back, a place stirring with echoes I couldn't ignore. I stood, legs shaking, the house warped, walls bending, doors vanishing. Lily's voice called, "Jack, stay," from nowhere, Grace's laugh trailing behind. My truck outside roared, engine alive, its gear glowing, filming me. I'd woken at the wheel, stopped here, heard the fog, entered, over and over. The shadow appeared. Me, gray-eyed, smiling. "You can't leave," it said, voice mine, cold. My chest seized. "Lily?" But the hum drowned me, the room spinning. I died, crashed with that crew, the demon in the box taking us all. Woke up driving, pulled to this town, my house. The keys fit because they were mine, the gear mine from that job. The fog rolled in, gray, blinding, my eyes matching it. A crash upstairs, Grace's toy rolled down, stopping at my feet. I grabbed it, tears falling. "I'm sorry," but the shadow laughed, the house pulsing, alive, mine, theirs. The truck's horn blared, calling me back to wake, to drive, to stop here again. A night bending into a nightmare I couldn't shake. The endless loop, the family's cry, the demon's grip, closing in with every moment I fought. I ran, door locked, windows sealed. The shadow grew, huge, its hum deafening. "You brought me." My head split. Memories of the crash, the box opening, the fog blinding us, then waking here. Lily's voice faded. "Come back." Grace's too. I was dead, a ghost, haunting my home, trapped by the demon I'd carried. The house settled, quiet. People lived here now, alive, while I wandered, unseen. My truck waited, engine warm, ready to restart. I'd sleep, wake, drive, stop, forever. The shadow faded, leaving me alone with the hum. A space alive with a force I couldn't break. A night haunted by a curse I couldn't flee, waiting for me to wake again. Chapter 6. The Ghost That Stays. A cold October dawn in 2025, or some endless echo, shrouded the house in a suffocating veil, the faint glow of my truck's dashboard seeping through the fogged glass, casting warped shadows across the cramped living room, furniture frozen in time, its fabric a testament to a life stolen. A clutter of my keys and a cracked photo. Lily, Grace, strewn near a silent void, a quiet echo of a soul trapped that stirred with an unease I couldn't shake as I sat by the window. The air thick with ash, and a chill no tears could warm. Trembling from a family I couldn't reach. A secret tightening around me in a prison I couldn't trust. My heart ached, a jagged rhythm that matched the faint calls beyond the glass. "Jack?" Lily's voice, Grace's cry, echoing in my mind like a love I couldn't hold, growing sharper as I pressed my hand to the pain, my fingers cold, stirring with a dread I couldn't place. "I'm here," I'd muttered earlier, clinging to them. But the unease stuck like damp mist, wrapping around my thoughts as I watched the fog. The silence heavy, pressing against me like a weight I couldn't shift. A terror stirring with something I couldn't escape, lurking in a loop I couldn't break, alive with a pull I couldn't see but felt holding me here, a home stirring with echoes I couldn't silence. I saw them, Lily, Grace, searching the high yard, calling me. My truck sat outside, engine warm, where I'd woken, stopped, entered, again and again. The shadow appeared, me by the stairs. "You're us," it said, my voice dead. My chest burned. "No," but it nodded, pointing to the box, open on the floor. That job, the paranormal crew, unleashed it. We'd crashed, died, but I woke driving, pulled here, my home. The demon rode with me, in me, trapping me in this loop. Wake, stop, enter, haunt. Lily's voice broke. "Jack, where are you?" Grace sobbed. I banged the glass. "I'm here." But they couldn't hear, walking away. Tears fell. I'd left them for that job, brought this curse home. The shadow smiled. "We stay." My eyes, gray, stared back from the window. The house pulsed, alive. People lived here now, moving through me unseen. I was the ghost, stuck, watching them fade. A night bending into a nightmare I couldn't shake. The family lost, the demons hold, the endless trap, closing in with every cry I heard. I sank, head spinning. The truck's horn called, soft now. I'd sleep, wake behind the wheel, drive, stop, here, forever. Lily's scent lingered, Grace's laugh, fading as the fog thickened. The shadows sat, me, watching them go. I tried to warn you, it said, my voice, my regret. The box hummed, alive, sealing us in. I'd carried it home, died, now trapped with it. My family left, alive, while I stayed, dead, haunting a house that wasn't mine anymore. The hum grew, final, locking me in. A space alive with a force I couldn't break, a night haunted by a curse I couldn't end, a ghost lost to a love I couldn't reach, stuck in a truck that never leaves.